Every RV builder in America is terrified to launch anything new right now. Dealer lots are packed with coaches nobody's buying. But one family-owned company just did the opposite of everyone else. They launched a brand new luxury motorhome line. Their first in 36 years. Not a refresh, not a rebrand, a completely new brand built in the worst RV market in a decade. That company is Tiffin Motorhomes, and what they just announced could change who builds America's best luxury coach, and you're about to find out why. The family that never sold out. To understand why this announcement matters, you have to understand who Tiffin actually is, and most casual RV shoppers get this wrong. Tiffin Motorhomes isn't a corporate spreadsheet brand invented by a holding company to fill a market gap. It started in 1941, founded by a family in Red Bay, Alabama, a town so small you'd miss it if you blinked on the highway. Bob Tiffin built this company with his own hands and his own name, and for decades, that name on the side of a coach meant something specific in the RV world. Real wood cabinetry, real fiberglass layup done by hand, and a level of fit and finish that made Tiffin the aspirational brand for full-time RVers and weekend warriors alike. Here's the thing about family-owned manufacturers in any industry, car companies included. They tend to make different decisions than public companies answering to shareholders every quarter. They think in decades, not fiscal quarters. And for most of Tiffin's history, that's exactly how they operated. Slow, deliberate, quality-obsessed, allergic to cutting corners just to hit a price point. Then, in 2020, everything changed on paper. Thor Industries, the massive conglomerate that also owns Airstream, Jayco, and Keystone, acquired Tiffin as part of a larger deal covering multiple RV brands, reportedly worth around $300 million total. If you're a longtime Tiffin owner, that news probably made your stomach drop a little. Because in the RV world, we've all watched what happens when a beloved family brand gets absorbed into a giant corporation. Quality slips. Corners get cut. The soul gets sanded off the product until it's indistinguishable from everything else on the lot. But here's what actually happened at Tiffin, and it's the part most casual observers miss. The Tiffin family didn't walk away. Bob Tiffin stayed on. Van Tiffin stayed on as senior advisor of manufacturing, overseeing the actual craftsmanship on the line. Trent Tiffin stayed heavily involved too. Thor bought the company, but the people who built its reputation kept their hands on the wheel. That's rare. That's almost unheard of in a $300 million acquisition. Most family businesses get bought and gutted within 5 years. Tiffin got bought and kept building the same coaches in the same town with the same people. That distinction matters enormously for what's coming next in this story, because everything Tiffin is about to do only makes sense if you understand they still think like the family business they've always been, even while operating inside a corporate structure that gives them serious resources to work with. The market everyone else is running scared from. Now let's talk about the environment Tiffin is doing this in, because context here is everything, and honestly, this is the part that makes the whole story make sense. The RV industry right now is not healthy. Interest rates have crushed financing on big-ticket purchases like motorhomes, where a diesel pusher coach can run anywhere from $300,000 to well over $1 million. When your monthly payment on a luxury coach jumps by hundreds of dollars because rates climbed, a huge chunk of the buyer pool simply steps back and waits. That's exactly what's been happening. Dealer lots across the country are sitting on bloated inventory from the pandemic-era buying boom that never got fully absorbed. Thousands of units built for a surge in demand that cooled off faster than manufacturers expected, leaving showrooms with coaches aging on the lot and dealers pressuring builders to slow shipments down. Manufacturers have announced layoffs, plant closures, and production slowdowns across the board over the past 2 years. This isn't isolated to one brand or one segment. It's happening at the mass market travel trailer level, and it's happening at the six-figure Class A diesel level too. Tariff pressure on materials and components has squeezed margins on everything from aluminum siding to appliance packages to the specialty chassis components that go into a diesel pusher build. Every input cost that used to be predictable has become a variable, and that variability makes long-term planning brutally difficult for any RV manufacturer trying to price a coach a year or two out. Multiple RV manufacturers have quietly scaled back new model development because launching something new right now feels financially reckless to a lot of executives. Boards want safety. They want proven SKUs, tighter production runs, and minimal exposure to a segment that might not exist in its current form 3 years from now. Some smaller builders in the space have struggled just to keep their doors open, let alone fund a brand new product line. Even executives at healthy, well-capitalized manufacturers have been candid in industry publications about how challenging the current climate is, citing interest rates and tariffs in the same breath almost every time they're asked about the outlook for the rest of the year. In other words, this is the worst possible moment, by every conventional business logic, to launch a brand new motorhome line from the ground up. And that's exactly what Tiffin just did. Think about how strange that is for a second. If you ran the numbers like a typical risk-averse corporate board, you'd be cutting SKUs right now, not adding an entirely new brand identity into your lineup. You'd be consolidating, not expanding. Every instinct in a downturn tells you to protect what's working and kill anything unproven. The safe move, the move almost every competitor is making right now in some form, is to hunker down, trim the fat, and wait for the financing environment to loosen up before you take any big swings. Tiffin looked at that same environment and did the opposite. And to understand why, you need to know what triggered this move in the first place. Because it's not just ambition, it's opportunity, and it fell into their lap in a very specific way. The Cornerstone bombshell. Here's the announcement that's been rippling through RV forums, owner clubs, and dealer showrooms for months now. And it's a genuinely big deal if you understand the luxury coach market. Integra Coach, a well-regarded diesel pusher brand based out of Middlebury, Indiana, announced it would be transitioning its Class A diesel lineup over to Tiffin Motorhomes to be built at Tiffin's flagship Red Bay facility. And out of that transition, Tiffin isn't just absorbing Integra's diesel models and slapping a Tiffin badge on them. They're building something entirely new, a brand called Cornerstone. This is the part that should stop you in your tracks if you actually understand how conservative the luxury RV world usually is. Tiffin has been explicit. Cornerstone is not a rebrand of Integra. It's not a new trim level within the existing Tiffin lineup. It is a completely separate identity, its own design language, its own philosophy, built from the ground up, sharing manufacturing space in Red Bay, but standing entirely on its own outside the Tiffin name. The last time Tiffin did anything close to this, launching a genuinely new line of Class A diesel motorhomes rather than iterating on an existing one, was 36 years ago, back when Travel Supreme first debuted. 36 years. That's how rare this kind of move is for this company. Most people watching the RV space today weren't even born the last time Tiffin did this. The plan, according to Tiffin's own leadership communications, is a measured rollout, introducing Cornerstone one model at a time rather than flooding the market immediately. The first model, internally referred to as Series 6, was slated to debut at the Music City Motorhome Expo in Nashville in the summer of 2026, following an exclusive pre-launch party for serious enthusiasts and dealers back in March. Cornerstone is being positioned as a step above Tiffin's current lineup, not replacing anything Tiffin already builds, but sitting in a tier of its own, aimed at buyers who want something beyond what even Tiffin's top-shelf Allegro bus or Zephyr coaches currently offer. Let that sink in for a moment. Tiffin's existing flagship coaches are already six-figure luxury motorhomes with residential interiors, hydronic heating systems, and diesel pusher chassis that ride like a Class A should. And Cornerstone is being built to sit above that. In an industry where most manufacturers are trimming feature lists to hit lower price points and survive a soft market, Tiffin just announced a brand designed to go up market. Against the trend. On purpose. Now, quick pause here, because if you're finding this breakdown useful, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me whether you'd actually consider a Cornerstone coach once they're on lots, or if you think Tiffin's existing lineup is already the ceiling of what you need. And if you haven't already, subscribe and tap that notification bell, because we cover stories like this, the ones that actually explain what's happening behind the RV industry headlines, every single week. Okay, back to the story. Behind the curtain. Every major strategic shift like this comes with turbulence, and Tiffin's has been no exception. In February of 2026, Lee Tiffin, who had served as president of Tiffin Motorhomes since mid-2021, announced his resignation from the role. Tiffin's official statement was clear that he wasn't terminated. He chose to pursue a new opportunity with National Indoor RV Centers, one of the largest motorhome dealer networks in the country, and the same group that ended up hosting the Cornerstone pre-launch event in Tennessee. That's not a coincidence worth ignoring. The industry's biggest luxury coach dealer and the man who just led Tiffin's biggest brand launch in decades are now working the same side of the table in a new way. And that kind of overlap tends to raise eyebrows in a close-knit industry where everybody knows everybody. Leadership transitions like this always generate speculation, and Tiffin owners on forums immediately started asking questions. Was this a sign of instability? Was Cornerstone in jeopardy? Was the family quietly stepping back while the corporate side of Thor took a firmer grip on the wheel? Tiffin's response was direct. Day-to-day operations continue as normal, the family remains actively involved, and every planned product launch, including Cornerstone, stays fully on track. The company went as far as publishing a clarifying statement addressing owner concerns head-on, something you don't typically see unless a company recognizes just how much trust is riding on getting the messaging right during a moment like this. At the same time this was happening, Tiffin also announced a major manufacturing shift at the plant level. A new production line for Class C motorhomes was set to open at the Red Bay facility, while the company's Winfield, Alabama plant would be closing, a transition affecting around 140 jobs, with 30 to 40 of those employees offered the chance to transfer over to the new Red Bay line. That's real people, real families, dealing with real uncertainty in the middle of a corporate strategy shift, and it's worth acknowledging that even a bold, forward-looking move like Cornerstone comes with genuine costs on the ground in a small Alabama community that depends heavily on this one employer. Consolidating operations into the flagship campus, rather than spreading production across multiple facilities, was framed by Tiffin as a move to strengthen craftsmanship and quality control by keeping more of the process under one roof, the same building where Bob Tiffin's name still means something. There's a logic to that beyond just efficiency. Diesel pusher construction, especially at the level Cornerstone is aiming for, depends on skilled labor, tight tolerances, and institutional knowledge that's hard to replicate across separate plants. Bringing that production home to Red Bay, where the most experienced hands in the company already work, is as much about protecting the brand's reputation as it is about cutting costs. So here's the full picture forming. New brand launching above the existing lineup, manufacturing consolidating into the original home base, and a leadership shakeup that, according to the company, doesn't threaten any of it. That's a lot of moving pieces happening simultaneously, and most companies would be terrified to execute all three at once during a down market. Tiffin is doing it anyway, betting that Red Bay craftsmanship, concentrated in one location under tighter oversight, is worth more than the risk of the transition itself. What this means if you're actually shopping for a coach. So let's answer the question you're probably actually asking. Does any of this matter to you if you're not a Tiffin superfan glued to owner forums? If you're currently a Tiffin owner, this is mostly good news, with one caveat worth watching. The good news, your coach's brand identity isn't going anywhere. Tiffin will keep building the Allegro, the Phaeton, the Zephyr, the Wayfarer, and the rest of the existing lineup exactly as it has been. Cornerstone sits above and beside that lineup, not inside it or instead of it. The caveat: consolidating Integra's diesel production and launching an entirely new brand inside the same Red Bay footprint means more volume moving through one facility. Tiffin has stated this consolidation is meant to improve quality control, not strain it. But if you're an owner with a service appointment coming up, it's worth keeping an eye on how smoothly that transition goes over the next year or two. If you're shopping in the luxury diesel pusher segment right now, the Newmar, Ford Travel, Integra, and top-tier Tiffin buyers of the world, Cornerstone is genuinely worth waiting to see. A brand new design language positioned above Tiffin's current flagship, built by a manufacturer with 80-plus years of family craftsmanship behind it, is not something that comes along often in this segment. Most luxury coach buyers hold on to their rigs for years, sometimes decades. Getting in early on a brand new platform with all the modern technology integration Tiffin's been rolling into its lineup, systems like power drive steering for better handling and maneuverability, and the Spider digital control system giving drivers a full touchscreen readout of diagnostics and coach operations, could put you ahead of a genuine shift in what luxury motorhome means in this country. If you're newer to the RV world and just trying to figure out where the smart money is going, here's the honest takeaway. The RV industry overall is contracting right now. Weaker brands are cutting models. Some smaller builders are struggling to survive the financing squeeze, and buyer confidence has taken real hits from interest rates alone. In an environment like that, a manufacturer expanding upward, investing in a brand new luxury identity instead of retreating, tells you something about how that company views its own long-term position. Tiffin isn't hedging. They're betting that when this downturn ends, and it will end, buyers are going to remember who kept building and who went quiet. And if you're an enthusiast who just loves watching how American manufacturing companies navigate these moments, whether it's Detroit fighting for relevance against foreign EV makers or a family motorhome builder in rural Alabama betting on a brand new luxury line during an industry slump, this Tiffin story is a genuinely rare case study. A company staying private in spirit even after a corporate acquisition. A family keeping real operational control instead of cashing out and disappearing. And a strategic bet that goes directly against what every other player in the space is currently doing. So back to where we started. A family-owned motorhome company in a town you could drive through in under a minute just did something no American RV builder has attempted in 36 years. They didn't play it safe. They didn't shrink the lineup and wait out the storm like almost everyone else in this industry right now. Bob Tiffin's family took over Integra's diesel pusher legacy, built an entirely new brand called Cornerstone from scratch, consolidated their manufacturing into the same Red Bay campus where this company was born in 1941, and did all of it while navigating a leadership transition most companies would have used as an excuse to pump the brakes on everything. That's not luck. That's not corporate spreadsheet strategy dictated from a Thor Industries boardroom in Indiana. That's a family that has spent over 8 decades building coaches with their own name on the side, betting that craftsmanship and boldness still mean something in an industry that's currently rewarding caution and retreat. Whether Cornerstone becomes the new benchmark for American luxury motorhomes or a bold experiment that takes a few years to find its footing, one thing is already clear. Tiffin just forced every other builder in this segment to answer a question they'd probably rather avoid right now. What are you building while everyone else is playing defense? So where do you land on this one? Are you excited to see what a completely clean sheet Tiffin brand looks like once Cornerstone actually hits dealer lots? Or are you more of a don't fix what isn't broken, stick with the Allegro kind of ERV-ER? Maybe you're watching this whole story with a healthy dose of skepticism, waiting to see if Cornerstone lives up to 36 years of hype before you believe any of it. Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one, and honestly, some of the best information in this whole video came from conversations that started right there in the comment section on previous videos. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Motor Zen. We dig into the real stories behind American vehicles, the history, the business decisions, the engineering choices, and the family legacies that most car and RV content never bothers to explain. Whether it's a 100-year-old muscle car legend or a motorhome brand making its boldest move in decades, we follow wherever the story actually leads, and we never talk down to you to get there. If this video gave you something worth knowing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what we're covering next. We've got more stories coming that dig into exactly this kind of American manufacturing grit, companies betting on themselves when everyone else is playing it safe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.